another 61 Beetle. I'm going to now replace, I got my Air Fuel mix gauge and sensor, so I can start doing that. But the first thing I'm going to do, you see how this tensioner is like really close. That's a 47.7 or 47.7, 47 inches. So I got a 45 inch, and I'm going to see if I can get this to be a little further away, just see if that fit is better. So let's check it out. I bought two of these 47.5s, and I just don't know if, you know, the measurement, you know, sometimes they're measured by inside dimension, outside dimension, who knows. But, you know, this is a usable length. And this one was 477, so 47. I don't know if that's 47 and a seventh, 47.7 inches, whatever it is. This one, does it even say what it is? Bistork 475, say 47.5. So we're gonna see if that fits any better. Hoping that it does. So, yes, perfect. See, look, I can put it on there manually. And I could decide to either go down, down with this tensioner, or up, but I choose to go up. That gives me more space here, which is great. So, you just have to see that has these ridges. So what you want is manually pull this as tight as you can. Turn this, it locks in the ridge. And then take this and just tighten it down. It's not a spring-loaded tensioner. It's only got the ridges to hold it. But if you feel that is tight, nice and tight. You can turn it half, but okay, so there's that. So I just had some basic housekeeping things that I wanted to do before I do my air fuel sensor. The other one, which is a nagging problem, which I've got, is my steering wheel is one notch off of center. So it's like this when I'm driving straight. So I'm going to take that off. You can see my wheels. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to rotate it one of the little notches. It's an annoying thing to have to do. So let me just do that, and I will put it on speed dial. Let's say I will fast forward this. You have to take off the center part. Horn thing, this guy here. And then I need a regular screwdriver, and then I take off my semicircular horn ring. So first the horn wire. All right, now I just need my big, let's see, where is that big, wrench? This guy here. So for the steering wheel, this is a 27. So let's see, I'll show you what I'm gonna do here, which is to take this bolt off, or nut. It's a big 27 millimeter, and then there's a washer that actually is more of a wavy washer. And then what I need to do is, I'm gonna assume, see if I can just get this to look there. So I'm gonna assume that I just need to make it straight from here. This is about how it drives right now. And I don't like that. So I think just 1 over should do it like that. So it's hard to know until you're actually driving and you're coasting along, then you can tell. But when you just look at the wheels, it looks straight whether you're 1 notch off or not. So, again, tighten this thing down with my 27. All right, that seems like it would be nice and tight, not come out. Safety first. Then I've got, this is the horn wire connection, and then you see each of these things has a spring. Let's see, I just dropped a spring now, so give me 1 sec. All right, so I got the spring. Each of these, it's important on this that there's a buffer, electrical buffer here. So there's a little washer that's plastic, you can see. Then there's a spring. And then when you push on the horn, you touch this thing to that actual horn ring, and then that connects the circuit by grounding it. So I've got to get each of these with the spring in place and the horn wire connected. So each of these, my regular screwdriver, let's see, really. Okay, well, here's our next try. I have the screwdriver. All right, so then you have to tighten this down just to the point where this sits correctly. So, and You don't want it to engage the horn, obviously, unless you press it. And you want the thing to sit into that little crack. It's usually like about 1/2 centimeter off on that horn ring. I can test it with the key to make sure it doesn't beep until pressed. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I need the right side down a little bit, and I need the bottom one down a little bit. All right, now all I need is this guy that connects the horn. All right, that's in place. So I can just test real quick and make sure that it doesn't go off without pressing, and that it does work when I do press it. So, oh, see, too tight. Go back this one, back them all out a little bit, especially this one, I think. That was the one. So I'll just back this one out a little bit, back this one out just a little bit.
The breakthrough drone was a milestone in the Allied
there we go.
In Italy.
And then the final step
first liberation
is to put this guy in and get it straight. Okay, so now I believe that straightens up the steering wheel, so that is off my to-do list. So I have the air fuel gauge and sensor, which I want to test, you know, with the supercharger and see what the air fuel looks like. But in order to do that, what I don't have is a pipe that I can measure it. So I'm trying to think of like what I can use here. So I could drill a hole and put one of the bungs in there, or you know, I could do it on the side of the drum there of the vintage speed exhaust, or I could just what I think I'm going to do, just for a rough measurement, is I'm going to take something like this, which is just a exhaust pipe, and this I can just stick like this, and I can put one bung into here. That would look like one of these guys here, right here. What I'm going to do is just weld in right here. I'm going to weld in one bung. I was told that if you get too close to the end of the exhaust, it will suck in a little bit of air and you get an off reading. But so this will be my next step. I'm just going to this guy here. So you can see it's all bent because I was using this for other stuff, but actually I could do it here as well. So first step is to weld this bung onto here as a this will be like a little tool that I have, rather than actually putting it into the exhaust itself. I'm going to weld it into there. So I will show that as I do it. Okay, let's see if I can get a hole in this thing that's the right size for the bung. Alright, I'm gonna put this into the vise. I should know better. I always try to take shortcuts with this stuff. Almost. Let's see. Perfect. All right, so really what I've got to do is this is for my air fuel mix little tool. I'm gonna weld this in with my welder, and then I'm gonna scrub this off so that whatever this paper is doesn't get all heated up. I don't know. And then this will be a little tool. It fits in perfectly into the exhaust, and should allow me to measure it while channeling out the exhaust. All right. There you can see the little bung there. So let's see if I can get this thing welded. Not pretty. Let's see. I mean, it's hard to say if that's airtight. I can't. All right, I think that's gonna be just fine. A little ugly, but I can take that down and then hopefully unscrew that. This thing's gonna be hot as hell, so I can take this thing in here. Super hot. All right, let's see if I can get this thing back out. Not correct. It's a really big one. Something like this, maybe. Yep. So. This is going to, obviously the threads slightly messed up on this. So let's go over to the vise. So see how badly that's amazing. I didn't think I did anything to the threads, but I have. Kind of thrashed the threads a little bit. You know, go in with a clean one, see if I can clean these up, because this has to obviously fit the sensor. You want to make sure threads are good. I don't have a tap that big, so just gotta use the, I think it's gonna be fine actually. So the only thing that I could probably do here is now just clean this up a little bit. Just because I want to clean up a little of that excess weld material. The last thing I could probably do is, so this is no longer round, so I'm gonna see if this tool actually works as a thing, you know, just to stick into the exhaust so I can measure my air fuel mix, but I just want to get the sticker off. check this out as a tool. So just stick the little end in here. So when I measure, rather than cutting a hole in my vintage speed, what I'm gonna do is just take this guy, stick it in like this, and it clamps in pretty well. And I don't think it changes the diameter too much, so it probably won't restrict it too much, and it's really in there, so that should be good. I mean, it's not totally sealed here, but I have a feeling that that sensor going in there should be pretty good. If I need to, I can wrap a piece of foil tape around this. All right. Okay, so this is my air fuel sensor. Has 2 wires. It has, this one goes into the back of the gauge, and then this one has a bunch of other wires, but you really only need to hook up the red and the black to get power to it. So what I'm gonna do, I've got this in there already, and that's at a decent angle. And I can take this guy, just allow me to twist it, and then I'm gonna hopefully, might as well take this out, use my big old wrench. I have another, on the bus I have another one of these threaded bungs that I can do the air fuel on the bus as well. For the time being, let's see if I can actually get this in. Okay, so that fit, you can see in there is my sensor. So I'm gonna put this here like that, and what I'm gonna do is get a piece of foil tape. Again, I'm not entirely certain that the foil tape will make any difference whatsoever, but whatever. Plus, who knows if this foil tape is meant for temperatures that hot. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Actually, that piece is not long enough. I'll take 2 pieces. This and this. Again, this is just a short-term setup so that I can measure it, do a few tweaks, and then I'll take this off, obviously, in order to drive it around. I'll get this off here. Okay, so one more piece of foil tape. And you can cut yourself pretty good on this. You gotta be a little careful. Okay, we're just gonna call that sealed, quote unquote sealed. So here's my measurement sensor. I'm gonna put that into here. Then here's my gauge. So this guy here, I suppose, since I'm not making this permanent, I can take this guy, and this guy fits into the back here. Make sure I put it in the right one. So there's that one, and then I have this guy here. Again, I just have to hook up the black and the red, and then that is going to go into here. And I have my sensor here. So what I want to do is have my sensor so that I can read it, but it's not getting blown on by the hot exhaust. So I'm gonna pull this out here on my table. This sensor gauge can go here, Get rid of all this junk. And then I want to be able to read this while messing and revving with it, so I'll just set it there. I have to connect the red and the black here. Trying to figure out if I'm going to connect that to the battery and bumper, or whether I just want to bring in another battery. I have another battery here. It doesn't have to be connected to the same battery. Might even work to just connect it to this battery. I don't think it needs that much, so I could probably just do this. We'll try it. Otherwise, I gotta put some like alligator clips on there and have it connect to something there. But I think I can just do this. This is the red with a black wire. So I'm gonna take this. I should do this with connectors, but for now we're just gonna do it like this. That is black. That's good. And here's the red with a black wire, of course, to make it as confusing as I possibly can. Yeah, you can see the gauge is on. So I do this. All right, so it says heat. I guess it takes a sec. So I'm gonna just guess I can start the motor once it heats up. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on and see what it does. Well, really, I don't know what I'm doing, because this, it just has a light on 20. I need to go read the instructions. I thought that what would have happened is, even if it's 20 plus, you know, it would have a reading here. But let's go and read the instructions. All right, well, it doesn't seem to read anything when it's just idling, and it occurs to me that that could have to do with the idle jet setup, or the fact that this is so close to the end of the tailpipe here. But the suggestion here was to rev it a little bit and kind of hold it steady at something like 1500 or 2000 RPM. See if I can get a reading. So let's try that. Well, that was interesting. It did seem to go to 12.3 when I was revving it, so I don't really know what that means, that the idle doesn't seem to be doing that well. It seems to be you know, it's possible that I need slightly larger idle jets, and then the main jet setup seems to be actually pretty good if it's going to 12.3. So let me see. Okay, so interestingly, now with this setup here, the air fuel mix descends to 12.3 when revving it, and on idle it doesn't seem very accurate. It seems to go up above 20, and it may be that there's not enough exhaust kind of passing through it there, but the issue I'm having now is that it just doesn't idle very well. Like it'll idle sometimes pretty well, and then it'll kind of sputter out. So what I think is I need to do a bunch of adjusting, kind of like the lean best idle mixture screws. I need to do some adjusting and get the idle to be smooth. But then I do believe that the revving it up and getting it to about 12 to 12.3 is perfect in terms of having the 1.55 main jets and the turbo emulsion tubes. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to work on my idle mixture, and you know, so that I got the new belts on, I got the steering wheel adjusted, I did the air fuel on revving to be 12.3. That looks good, so I just have to do that. So all right, well, thanks a lot, and talk to you guys soon.